Good afternoon and a warm welcome to Leigh Sports Village for the opening game of Women's Football Weekend. Ben Jacobs with you for the Manchester derby between United and City. It is the first here in the WSL and a chance for the hosts to send a message that maybe power is changing. United have gone from WSL newcomers to pace setters, and a win today will at least temporarily send them 4 points ahead of City. The visitors come off the back of an 8-1 win, though, over a albeit depleted Bristol City. And despite just 3 wins from 6 games, they're still arguably favourites coming into this, a competitive and intriguing derby that could well prove to have title ramifications. 2 minutes to go until kickoff, and I'll run through the teams very shortly. I can tell you both teams have made one change from their last WSL outing, and for Manchester United it was a big victory, 1-0 over Arsenal, and here they come. There's Tobin Heath in the side along with Kristen Press. Sam Lewis also starts for Manchester City. Rose Lavelle, though, only on the bench. Manchester City clearly the colder of the two sides, hence they've come out with their training tops on. Manchester United mean business. And once we go through the final formalities and, as I say, give you the full teams, we'll get underway with arguably the most competitive derby between these two sides since Manchester United reformed in 2018. It's the first meeting here at Leigh Sports Village in the WSL, and they'll actually play again in just 6 days' time, same venue in the League Cup. So let's give you the Manchester United team. It is one change from that impressive 1-0 victory over Arsenal. Jess Sigsworth comes into the side and replaces Kirsty Hansen. It's Sigsworth's first start in the WSL. She has appeared off the bench before. And Manchester United will be playing a 4-2-3-1. We expect Press to lead the line. Toon just behind her. As for Manchester City, as expected, Rose Lavelle is only on the bench. It is one change for the visitors. Maybe a bit of a surprise. Demi Stokes coming in for Gemma Bonner. That will mean that Alex Greenwood moves to centre-back, Stokes at left-back. It's a 4-3-3 for Manchester City. And up top is Stanway, White and Kelly, all in form. 9 goals between that trio, which is why Lavelle is only on the bench. Referee is Amy Fern, the assistants Rhys Davis and Declan Brown, and Ed Duckworth is the 4th official. Women's Football Weekend, all the games are staggered, which means that you basically just have to sit on your couch and watch all day via FA Player or many of our international broadcast partners such as NBC and DAZN. And before we get underway, the players will kneel in solidarity of the Black Lives Matters movement. Just a quick look at the 3 Americans there. They've been stirring somewhat, referring to the city being either exclusively blue or red. Press in particular talking about how actually Manchester City and Manchester is not a, quote, big club. And that will certainly be something to stir up the opposing dressing room. As ever, players kneeling for a worthy cause and using their platform to send a strong message of inclusion as we get underway. Press from kickoff. Manchester United against Manchester City. City have played a lot of games. They've won trophies, including, of course, the FA Women's Cup. But in the league, just 3 victories from 6 games. And as a consequence, coming into this fixture in a slightly unfamiliar position, 5th in the table on 11 points. Sigsworth in a little bit of space and can spread it over to that far left-hand side. Grunen, 2 in the box. Press at the near post. Sigsworth hanging around by the penalty area. Heath, patient build-up. Not the best delivery, though. You can can see behind that goal how breezy it is as well. The flag's getting caught up in the wind, which is going from left to right, west to east. And certainly that's going to be a factor with set-piece delivery. Just a reminder, whilst we have a slight lull in play, women's football weekend after this: Villa against Birmingham, Everton, Reading, Bristol City versus Spurs, and a full programme on Sunday as well. And for the first time on FA Player, we've got star-studded teams and co-commentators as well. Chris Slegg will be joined by Rachel Yankee for Villa against Birmingham, Everton, Reading, Paul Scott and Jane Ludlow, Bristol City against Spurs, Michael McCann and Kelly Smith. I'll run through the Sunday fixtures as well when we get another break. And I'll also reiterate that team news in case you missed it. But Manchester United with most of the early ball. And here is Press in plenty of space, asked a little bit too much of herself though, and ran into a wall of sky blue. Press making her third start in the FA WSL and fourth appearance overall. Bronze and Greenwood, though, two experienced defenders, had that one covered and just made sure that they closed the gap and allowed Ellie Roebuck to come safely off her line. Grunen, Ladd, tries a snapshot from distance, but it never really had any meaningful power behind it. Roebuck, though, getting plenty of touches early on. That one change shows the depth, but also the headache for Gareth Taylor, the Manchester City manager. Usually when you're listing a Manchester City women's team, Bonner and Horton, two names automatically on the team sheet, but suddenly Greenwood and Bronze have arrived, and Stokes too, back in the fold. And a little bit of rotation is needed to keep everybody happy and also find a stable back four in the long run. This will be kept in by Stanway, who drills one into the near post, and maybe she should have looked for a teammate trying to cut that back. There weren't too many options, in fairness, which is possibly why she decided to go alone, but a much bigger arse trying to beat Mary Earps at her near post. Lewis was trying to find space and peel away just to the left of the penalty spot. City won the only WSL meeting on opening day last season between these two sides by a 1-0. Caroline Weir scored a 20-yard stunner in that game. And quite the contrast as well. That was at the Etihad Stadium in front of a record 31,213 fans. And if we didn't have a pandemic, this one may well have been at Old Trafford. I'm sure we'd have had another big attendance as Mewis tries to find Kelly, but she's pickpocketed. And Manchester United can break with pace now. Heath. Press and Toon trying to get into the box as well. Sigsworth also in a little bit of space. Here's Toon! And she almost managed to scoop that into the top corner. Just shows you the ferocity with which Manchester United can break. Toon trying to pick her spot. Roebuck was beaten. Just a whisker away from the opening goal of the game. Here come United again. The intended target was Sigsworth, but straight back into the welcome arms of Ellie Roebuck. 20-year-old England goalkeeper. Stanway hugging the touchline and finds Stokes, who loves to get forwards. Coombs was on the overlap, but instead it went into the box. Ellen White was the intended target. Manchester United with Amy and Millie Turner in the centre, Leah Galton and Bona Battier, the two fullbacks. Without wanting to jinx this one, there should be goals, given that City and United have had the most attempts on goal in the WSL so far. City with 117, United with 115. But what will be arguably more pleasing to Casey Stoney is the fact that they kept a clean sheet against free-scoring Arsenal. So the table as it stands as we kick off women's football weekend: Manchester United 16 points, Arsenal 15 points, Chelsea in third on 13 points, tied with Everton. But here comes City, looking to put a spanner in the works and make this table even tighter. Millie Turner gets it away. Turner, who scored the winner with her head against Tottenham. And another narrow victory. Earps will be disappointed with the clearance on that occasion. Turner, though, with a vital interception because Ellen White was lurking. Horton, as ever, comes forwards up against Hayley Ladd. Mewis with plenty of height as well. They're both at the back post. Chloe Kelly making a nuisance of herself right in front of Earps. And Ellen White is at the near post. Dangerous whipped in corner as well, and Horton will get half a header, and it's almost spectacularly flicked in there by Chloe Kelly, who's still lurking and has turned it in. And at the second time of asking, Manchester City have the early goal in the derby. Pinball in the box. Kelly was persistent. And Earps will be really disappointed, having initially given the ball away that led to the corner. Horton with the header. The spectacular first was blocked by Sigsworth, but turned in deftly for the opening goal of the game. Chloe Kelly, her fourth in the FA WSL. And you can see from that angle behind the goal what a great finish it was as well. So for all of Manchester United's early possession and dangerous play, particularly down that left-hand side, Manchester City the more clinical as Mewis combines with Coombs. Demi Stokes in some space, and she can certainly hit the ball, thought about it. Instead, though, finds Stanway. Interchange as well with Mewis, and then fizzes one across the face of goal, almost a cross shot in the end. There was no sky blue shirt at the back post. But the build-up play from City at the moment is very intricate, and they look dangerous, particularly from wide areas. Dangerous time at the moment for Manchester United, who have to make a decision as to whether to continue this enterprising counter-attacking football that means when they lose possession they're open down both flanks, or whether Casey Stoney needs to tighten things up a little bit now, because a second Manchester City goal would inevitably and obviously make things very difficult for them to get something out of this game, even with a full 80 minutes remaining. Chloe Kelly, who joined Manchester City from Everton in the off-season, having had a breakthrough season with the Toffees, 9 goals in the FA WSL in just 11 appearances, and already 4 this season as well. Stanway. Plays in Stokes, who's ahead of Sigsworth, and there's space at the near post here. And the intended target was White. Just a little bit too strong and close to Earps in the end. Once again, a reminder about Women's Football Weekend. This is the first game you can see on FA Player and around the world. Villa Birmingham follows with Chris Slegg and Rachel Yankee. Everton Reading at 4:30 BST with Paul Scott and Jane Ludlow. Onabatye giving that away, and Stanway's got the better of her once more. She has to be very careful. It looked just outside the area. That was a dangerous tackle. Batye may say she realised that there was danger on and committed the foul, knowing exactly where Stanway was in terms of in versus out of the area. Stanway really didn't have too many options, in truth. And even though that ball has been placed a good 4 or 5 yards away from the edge of the area, the original foul looked a lot tighter. Greenwood will deliver. Punched away by Earps. Stanway is on the edge of the area, as is Kira Walsh, who will fire it back in first time. Ella Toon taking no chances and hacking it away. Manchester United under the cosh at the moment. So Bristol City Spurs, 18:30 today, BST. Michael McCann and Kelly Smith. And then on Sunday, we bring you games from West Ham Brighton. That's first up, Chris Sharples and Faye White. And Arsenal Chelsea with Simon Watts at 14:30 BST. So by this point, you'll need a cup of coffee because you won't have left your couch. Make sure you maximise that half-time break to get snacks and fuel to keep you through this weekend of top-class women's football. And we also have 2 games on FA Player as well from the FA Women's Championship. London Bees against Lewis. Lewis have made a superb start to the season, and a top-of-the-table clash between Sheffield United and Durham. Stanway on the edge of the area, combining with Coombs. Everyone back at the moment for Manchester United as Mewis spreads it out to that right-hand side, and Kelly and Stanway doing really well of making this pitch as wide as possible and stretching that Manchester United back line, and then suddenly using their acceleration to burst into the box and of course make their way there for set pieces as well. It means that Manchester United's back line are being tested in these early stages with 15 minutes gone. Chloe Kelly's goal on 8 minutes is the difference between the sides, as Amy Turner, Manchester United's captain, is just down and receiving some treatment. Colliding with Ellen White. Did the important thing, which is won the ball, but appears to have landed awkwardly. Well, Casey Stoney with plenty to think about in these opening moments. After a bright start in the opening 5 minutes or so, it's been all Manchester City since. Heath and Press have had a little bit of the ball in those opening stages and some joy in terms of their build-up down the left-hand side. Haven't seen as much of Ella Toon, who's been forced back to defend on a number of occasions. And as expected, Grunen and Ladd are having to protect the back four. So United temporarily down to 10 women. Amy Turner, though, does make her way back into the centre of defence now as the throw-in is up to Coombs. Bronze, Walsh. Here, Walsh again. Couldn't quite get the shot away, but as you can see, Manchester United, in clearing their lines, have got no outlets as things stand. One of the challenges of this 4-2-3-1 against a 4-3-3 with Kelly and Stanway so wide is that Heath and Sigsworth are going to have to track back and constantly be pulled out of threatening areas, especially with the pace that Manchester City come forward. Here's Ladd, though, in a slightly more advanced position, pulls the trigger. Straight into the hands of Ellie Roebuck for a simple save. The only thing that would disappoint Manchester City there is the time and space, but that was one that the young Manchester City goalkeeper could watch all the way. Certainly end-to-end, though, in this opening 20 minutes. Kelly, the goal scorer, looking for Mewis. It's just over her head. It may fall to Mewis now, and she got the shot away as well. Millie Turner off the line. Bronze now with the effort. Drilled down into the ground. Too many red shirts in the way, though, to go all the way through to Earps. Mewis, though, so close to doubling Manchester City's lead. Devastating a counter-attack down that right-hand side. Could have fell to Coombs originally. Mewis almost won it the first time. Ellen White, Mewis, Coombs and Kelly, though, all causing problems at the moment. There's the goal scorer in that rather fetching yellow band. Something that she also wore consistently at Everton as well. Did speak once in an interview after she'd scored 3 goals in the early part of last season, saying that she's superstitious and part of the attire is lucky. Amy Turner, not the most convincing clearance, and Demi Stokes almost able to keep that ball down and into the roof of the net. Just got a bit too much power on it. It's one of those oddities where when you're that close and the ball doesn't come down as quickly as you like, you almost don't want to hit it as well as she did, because that's ultimately, through that extra power via the cleaner contact, what took the ball over the bar. Sometimes the slightly scuffed or sliced hits can be the ones from that distance that end up falling into the back of the net. Difficult back pass there, asking a little bit extra of Earps, who unfortunately has slipped. Got to the ball okay in the end. Clearly worried, though, that it was going to roll out, so decided to try and hit it first time. Lost a bit of focus and ends up conceding a very cheap corner. Greenwood to deliver. Mewis is lurking dangerously. It's over her head. Straight in towards Earps. You certainly can't blame City for targeting at the moment the Manchester United goalkeeper. He's looking a little bit shaky under pressure in the opening quarter here at Leigh Sports Village. Stanway, Coombs, Mewis. Kelly will win the corner off Galton. After this, there'll be another Manchester derby, same venue, 19th of November. That's in the League Cup. Manchester United go away at Aston Villa. And Manchester City are away at Everton. Greenwood to deliver. Stanway on the edge of the area. White at the near post alongside Mewis. It's aimed towards the back post. Mewis is there. Looping header just over the bar. And again, so near yet so far for Manchester City, who continue to create chances and come within a fraction of doubling their lead. Really difficult angle for Mewis. Adjusted her body well, just couldn't quite keep the ball down. Mewis, one of the 4 US women's national team players on show, 3 starting and Rose Lavelle on the bench. Manchester United, of course, with Press and Heath, who we saw a lot of in the opening 5 minutes, but not too many touches since. Lavelle's been the one that's really struggled since moving to the WSL. She has been recovering from an ankle injury, but arguably she'd be more suited stylistically to Manchester United's formation, where she could play as a number 10 behind Christen Press. At Manchester City, she's often been deployed in wider areas on the left, where she's arguably not quite as effective. Just 1 start and 3 substitute appearances, no goals in the FAWSL yet. Heath, who switch sides. Press now on the ball. Amy Turner. Bronze was in the way. Of course, a lot will be said about Manchester United given their current position in the table top as to whether or not they can win the FAWSL title. Casey Stoney's been a little bit more diplomatic, speaking more about breaking into the big 3 and turning it into a big 4. City, Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester United. Here's Coombs for City. Ladd will take the ball off her. Brunen didn't have too many options, goes back to Earps, and that is a far better distribution, and it might set something off down the left-hand side. Press, no offside. Galton on the ball. Toon to her right. Here is Ella Toon. Instantly, though, 2 City shirts around her. Ladd. Sigsworth is offside. Stanway with Demi Stokes making an intrepid run to her left. The intended target instead was Ellen White. Well, Manchester United proved against Tottenham and Arsenal, winning both of those games 1-0, that they can defend against the best and soak up pressure. So at the moment, Casey Stoney won't be too concerned, but a second goal before half-time naturally changes the complexion of the game dramatically. United winning 1-0 against Arsenal, and before that 4-2 away at West Ham United. Alicia Russo scored 2 goals in that game. She is currently out with a hamstring injury. And good to hear as well during the week from Manchester City's perspective that Lauren Hemp is also recovering well from a hamstring injury, and we expect to see her back in December. And that just shows you the depth that the visitors have got, as also exemplified by their bench as well. Mewis, Stanway in a bit of space. Chose not to use the overlap. And a little disappointingly, it's all the way back with Greenwood. He's playing at centre-back in place of Gemma Bonner, because Demi Stokes has come into the side. And here is Stokes in space, looking to justify her inclusion. Pulls it to the back post. Kelly was there. Stanway pulls the trigger, but she slices the shot harmlessly over the bar. Stokes here with a brilliant run, getting away of Sigsworth, who should have tracked her. Ellen White with a really clever dummy. Chloe Kelly desperately unlucky not to double City's lead. Galton was in the way. As for Manchester City, as I mentioned earlier, they beat Bristol City 8-1 in their last outing. It was 1-1 for a small portion of the game. Bristol City, though, unfortunately missing a number of their key players due to an outbreak of COVID-19. Before that, City won 3-0 at Liverpool, who beat Manchester United in the League Cup. A very strong Manchester United side as well. And a key win, 3-1, against the in-form Everton as well before that. So things have very much picked up for City after a slightly slow start in the FA WSL. They drew 1-1 away at Reading. That was one of their most disappointing results. Sam Mewis was on the score sheet in that game. And they lost 3-1 against Chelsea as well, with Chloe Kelly scoring the consolation from the penalty spot. And here is Kelly again. So important to this City side. So versatile as well. For Everton, she was given a bit more freedom to constantly cut in and play through the centre, but you can see the tactics from Gareth Taylor for both Stanway and Kelly to try when possible and get white chalk on those boots. Brilliant touchdown from Stokes. Coombs is in space. Stanway to the left. Here's Georgia Stanway. Plenty of space. Heavy first touch though. And Earps makes the save. Stanway will be really disappointed as Earps stays down. Possibly no need to take that heavy touch. Could have just pulled the trigger and gone for the far corner. Stokes starting it off. Coombs through the centre. And right there, she could have hit it. Instead wanted one more touch. And that made the save a whole lot easier for Earps, who afterwards seemingly takes a knee to the thigh area. And those can be painful and of course lead to dead legs. Stanway only 21, waiting to win her 20th cap for England. She'll feel that that could, if not should, have been her 4th goal in the FA WSL. Nothing really she could have done in terms of her momentum to stop herself from careering into Earps. And once again, whilst we've got a lull in play, women's football weekend, bigger and better than ever, of course. We're sad that we can't use some different stadiums and have fans there. We've had record attendances before, including the only WSL meeting between these sides on opening day last season when Caroline Weir was the difference between the two teams. She's on the bench this afternoon, and that had over 30,000 fans. But women's football weekend is still bigger in the sense that all of these games are now staggered, which means that you can watch 6 matches from the FA WSL and 2 on FA Player from the FA Women's Championship as well. Coming up after this, Villa Birmingham. Chris Slegg is joined by Rachel Yankee. We've got co-commentators as well, and with quite a pedigree as well. Everton against Reading follows that. Paul Scott and Jane Ludlow. And rounding off Saturday, Bristol City against Spurs with Michael McCann and Kelly Smith. Sunday, we kick off with West Ham Brighton, followed by Arsenal Chelsea. West Ham Brighton, Chris Sharples and Faye White. Arsenal Chelsea on the world feed, Simon Watts. And then those 2 games from the FA Women's Championship as we look again at Chloe Kelly's goal. London Bees, Lewis, and Sheffield United against Durham. 3 of the 4 sides, Lewis, Sheffield United and Durham, are up there challenging for promotion to the FA WSL. Good to see Mewis a moment ago using the lull in play as an opportunity to educate Chloe Kelly, give her some valuable insight and instructions. Press does really well. And now she's got options, Toon and Sigsworth. Press going alone, looping one over a slightly uncertain Roebuck, but there was no red shirt at the back post, and Stokes will at least half clear under pressure. On a Batye, claiming the throw-in. And that'll be a goal kick to Manchester City. Press timed her run perfectly, and then you see the acceleration. Just nipping the ball past Horton. We have incidentally had games here outside of the FA WSL. The pair met in the League Cup last season. United won 2-0. That was October 2019, Katie Zellum, usually the captain when she starts, and Jess Sigsworth both on the score sheet in that one. And City won 3-2 here as well in January, en route to winning the FA Cup, which of course ran into this season. Jill Scott got the winner in that game, and Ellen White scored twice. Lauren James was on the score sheet for United, and Lauren Hemp put through her own net in that game. Ten minutes to go until half-time. Relatively end-to-end for 15 minutes, but since the Manchester City goal, Manchester United have been on the back foot. Onabatie with the throw-in. She was kind enough to WhatsApp her the perfect Spanish pronunciation of her name. Another slightly dicey back pass to Earps from Amy Taylor. Galton on the ball now, moving forward with purpose. Press. Galton. A rare touch for Toon, but it was a slightly short pass. Kira Walsh mops up, and Horton half clears. Ella Toon will certainly hope to get more involved. She's made a habit this season of scoring match-winning goals, 3 of them. Only Vivian Miedemar at Arsenal has more with 4. But before Manchester United can think about a match-winning goal, they need to find an equaliser. Press, who was onside, but Roebuck very alert to the danger, playing sweeper-keeper. Who has stuck to that right-hand side after starting on the left. Zona Battier wins this free kick. One thing you'll see from Heath is movement from left to right. Now on the more familiar left-hand side, but she likes to try and work her way across the field when possible. Battier, Sigsworth, the full-back again from Spain on the ball. Toon struggling to keep that in, did well to just stand on the ball, but it allows Demi Stokes a routine clearance with plenty of distance on it. White claiming the throw in there after just using all her professional experience to put Turner under pressure. And Amy Turner has had a tough first half. Meanwhile, Millie Turner hasn't been able to get forward for any kind of set pieces. And one thing Casey Stoney will want to see in the second half and the remaining minutes of the first is Galton pushing forwards a little bit more down what should be a dangerous left-hand side, but of course, there's a tactical battle at the moment. Manchester United don't want to leave themselves too open, having fallen behind so early. Bronze. Kelly. Mewis calling for it at the near post, takes the deflection and out for the corner off Galton. Kelly has been the most lively Manchester City player, and again, watching the line all the way. And that looked a dangerous cross, and had the deflection from Galton not occurred, then it would have certainly asked a question of Millie Turner, with Sam Mewis trying to get ahead of her at the near post. Greenwood to deliver. Into the near post, and it was Horton taking a swipe at it. Just couldn't make clean enough contact from close range. Anything more on the ball, and she'd have surely found the back of the net, but it just bounced up. And with Hayley Ladd right in front of her as well, it was a difficult finish because the ball was moving so quickly. Horton, though, will still perhaps feel that she could have done a little bit better there. So many of those kind of opportunities for Manchester City in the first half would have just whistled over the bar. Stokes could have put one in the roof of the net. Mewis had a looping header onto the top of the net from a set piece. Chloe Kelly poked one, which was effectively cleared off the line. So in the end, if Manchester United can get in 1-0 only at half-time, they might be not necessarily pleased, but relieved. And a chance to take stock in the second half. And they have actually been a better second-half team than first-half team this season in terms of goals and points won. Stanway, a little bit too strong for Mewis. Millie Turner is there. Heath winning that free kick. It's been frustrating for her in this opening 40 minutes as well. All of the Americans have spoken about the FAWSL being much more tactical than the NWSL. Games are like a puzzle, according to one or two of the US women's national team players, whereas the NWSL is, in their words, a bit more intuitive. Stokes. A bit too strong for Stanway. Amy Turner is there. A little bit of blood as well below the left eye of Amy Turner, which I'm sure if the officials spot, they will ask her to get treated. At least we know that Amy Turner bleeds red, as Kelly couldn't really do anything with that ball as it fell to her ahead of Galton. Only Mewis and Walsh options at the moment. That's a dangerous drilled cross though in towards Stanway. White is in there as well, but Earps able to fall on the ball and take with confidence. She wanted to start a quick counter-attack there, but Battier hadn't noticed or made the run down the right-hand side, so Earps will take stock and then bowl it out to Galton instead on the left. In terms of options to Casey Stoney if she wants to make personnel or formation changes, Lucy Staniforth and Lauren James are both likely players who might be brought on in the second half to add a bit more impetus and some fresh legs. Here's Staniforth though. Another dangerous cross, but had she looked up she'd have seen that there was again nobody making a run at the back post. Far too much space though to put in the delivery in the first place. Bronze, who rejoined Manchester City from Lyon. In towards Staniforth at the near post. Ladd needs to clear because Demi Stokes is lurking. And Stokes has done a really good job of not only breaking forwards and adding width, but also cutting in field. She's probably got into the box as many times in the first half as the goal scorer Chloe Kelly. Battier. Not enough weight on that unless there's a mistake by Stokes. Turns away from Sigsworth, who's been quite stranded on that right-hand side. This has been a problem for Manchester City compared to last season, where they dominate games and they score, but then they don't kill them off. Reading was the best example of that this season in the FAWSL. It finished 1-1. And Manchester City had 26 shots in that game, but could only score one, and ultimately they were punished. Shouldn't have too much added time. You can see the fourth official getting the board ready in the middle of your picture. 4 minutes, well that does seem a lot. No idea where that's come from. It was of course the injury to Mary Earps in the goal, but that's about it. Mewis pulls the trigger, but it's going to fall to Coombs, who fires it in! And in injury time, Manchester City double their lead. And it's a ferocious finish by Laura Coombs for her second goal in the FAWSL. And the former Liverpool player scores against Manchester United, and City have breathing space. Manchester United 0, Manchester City 2. Kelly again involved, then to White. Mewis from the edge of the area. That was well blocked. And the instinctive reaction from Coombs. Great first touch to create the space. Brilliantly hit into the back of the net, which is still shaking. And now it is a massive task for the FA WSL leaders, don't forget, Manchester United. 2-0 down. And in truth, it's been coming all half. One minute plus maybe a few extra seconds due to the goal. Batcher with the throw-in, looking for press. 3 instantly around her, including her US Women's National teammate, Sam Mewis. Sigsworth going route 1. Greenwood is in the way. One final chance in the opening half for Manchester United to halve the deficit and go in feeling a lot better about themselves. Walsh, though, getting to the ball ahead of Toon, and now there could have been a break on there for Chloe Kelly. But instead she'll be penalised, and that will take us to the allocated 4 minutes. So Kelly with the opening goal on 8 minutes, tried something audacious with a back flick that was blocked, and then a poacher's finish to follow, prodding the ball into the back of the net. She's a little bit lucky to not get booked there. And in fact, Amy Fern will now reach into her pocket for a yellow card for Chloe Kelly. And after Kelly scored, it was all Manchester City, despite quite a bright start from Manchester United in the opening 5 minutes or so. Heath and Press combining well.